FM 99.3 KNSI. Welcome again to Taking You Home with VoigtJohnson Real Estate. You can hear this every Thursday and Saturday morning on KNSI. Thursday 7:23, Saturday at 7:50. Start your home search at VoigtJohnson.com. Heidi Voigt, good to see you.
Good to see you.
Well, this is going to be just a fun question. Are you busy?
Yes, that is something that I hear constantly. I was actually at a bazaar this weekend and ran into people, and that was the comment, are you busy? And we are busy. It's a little bit of a different kind of busy when we run into the fall market, but agents who are active and do this full time are never without things to do.
So why is it different now, typically speaking?
Well, I believe that our value added as agents, when you ease into a market that isn't maybe quite as active, is that you start being of value to your clients by helping them prepare and plan. And
Experience, right?
Yep. And we're doing a lot of taking our experience and putting it in, injecting it into people's planning of what they're going to do with their real estate.
Not only for purchasing, but for selling as well?
Definitely for both. Purchasing is one of those things where when people need to do it, they're generally going to do it.
Yes.
It's more of a dynamic situation when people are both selling and purchasing, or just maybe only, just only purchasing. Then the climate of the interest rates and what's going on in the market is going to be a little bit more impactful.
If someone is selling their home and they're hoping to get to another home, right? They want to move up.
Yep.
That's usually how it happens, right?
Correct.
Or maybe they're going to downsize and have that forever home or whatever, patio home or what have you. But when people start doing that, which is I don't want to say harder, but what involves more care for the client? Purchasing, selling, from your view?
Oh, I think it's just a matter of different kind of care or different kind of strategies.
Yeah.
I think that and it changes throughout the year.
Okay.
What we're seeing in a fall market in general, and we've talked about this before about when people purchase or when they sell, it's a changing event, and what we see in the fall is a lot more what I would call one and done type of transactions.
Okay.
So you've got people that they're selling their home and they're relocating, or they're selling their home because they're going to go into assisted living, or they're selling their home because they went through a
Sure.
divorce and they're going to go rent.
Life has happened.
Yeah. There's less trains on that transaction car. So
Sure.
the beautiful thing about that is that in the fall, where we feel like we're just doing a transaction and maybe there's nothing coming after it, the boost that we get in the spring is that there are more trains in the car,
Right?
and so, or there are more cars in
Cars
the
in the
train,
train,
yeah.
right.
And what happens with that is that it creates a level of excitement in the marketplace, and people will have the perception that it's a busy market.
Sure.
The market is still busy now. It's just there's not as many cars in the train.
Okay, now one of the things we've talked about in the past is what you do, and you mentioned it now, how the value that is added by your particular agents, managing expectations right now. We were off the air, I asked you about interest rates. Everybody wants to know, oh my gosh, they're going up. But there are some things that can be done, right, to make sure that I can still buy the house I want, or that I am going to sell my house.
Yeah, and I think that is probably one of the strategic conversations that needs to happen with sellers. What we're seeing in the marketplace right now, 350 and under, there's still a deficit of inventory. I'm seeing increases in inventory levels between 350 and 750, which are the price points that are going to be mostly impacted by those higher interest rates.
Mm-hmm.
And some of the strategy that we talk about, not just price, presentation, and patience, but from the strategy perspective, is talking about sellers about having concessions be part of their strategy.
How do you decide what those concessions will be? Again, I bet that's where the agent comes in and can really help us through all that stuff.
Well, yeah, and I think it's just a matter of giving them a narrative. I mean, for example, I'll be visiting with some people today that are going to be structuring an offer, and they are in that balancing act of or they're having 20% down, but
Yeah.
they could use some of these funds to pay their closing costs, but then they'd only be 10% down, but there's some costs that come with that. Well, in a market where they could possibly negotiate in the fall, because there's a home that's been on the market for a little bit longer that they're looking at purchasing, part of that might be saying, okay, well, let's not worry about getting $10,000 off the price. Let's see if we can get some concessions towards your closing cost to possibly buy down your rate and keep you at a 20% down, because that's going to save you money, and then if you buy down your rate, you're going to save money. And then explaining that dynamic to sellers, saying, if we offer this up front as part of your listing package, saying, hey, the seller is willing to pay X towards a concession in order to make this a more attractive purchase, that could be a good strategy for a seller.
You know, to me, it sounds like you're going from column A to B to C to D, both with buyers and sellers, and that again is where your experience really shines.
For sure. When you go through a process where we've been in a buyer's market for so long, what we need to remind buyers and sellers is that they need each other, right?
Yeah,
you know, they need
for
each
sure.
other. You have something I want, and I want you to buy my home. Well, it can't be this adversarial relationship. It's got to be something where you come in and say, how can we make this work for everyone?
Okay, you talked about price and presentation and patience. What about the presentation side of things? Because I would think right now, man, you want to have that house looking as good as it can.
Yeah, we alluded to that in the spring, that our expectations, that the bar is being raised, and when people are spending more money on a home, maybe not so much in price, but the fact that their payment is going to be going up.
Right.
People are no longer going to want to be inheriting things that aren't correct. And so when people are asking what can they do to make their home more attractive, especially as inventory levels in certain price points rise, that's going to be where, you know, if it's broke, fix it.
Yeah.
Choose specific areas in your home to maybe update and get the concept of, hey, I could have my whole house look like this, even if you're only doing a kitchen and a living room, or a living room and a bathroom,
Sure.
or something like that, and putting some of those investments so it feels modern and updated.
You know, I hate to be this way, but from a guy's point of view, if I walk into a house that I'm thinking about buying, and the agent says, hey, here's all the service records, all the maintenance they did on the furnace, every other piece of moving, machinery inside that house. I know that it's been well taken care of, the maintenance has been performed. I breathe a lot easier.
Oh, 100%. And that's the home that I went through this week, and people are considering, and it was a one-owner home built in the early 90s. And that's a beautiful home to sell, because generally when people build a new house, they strive to keep it that way.
Yep.
So being the second owner of a home can be a great thing, because those people usually have taken really, really good care of those homes, and they do have those maintenance records. They're not lost in the shuffle.
Yeah, they're still so proud of that.
Yeah,
right?
Absolutely.
Very
absolutely.
cool. And this is the other thing that we have talked about, that pride in home ownership, folks. If you've never been, you don't know, but man, get out there, get that first home.
Oh, for sure. And raise the bar. You raising the bar at your home, you will see your neighbors act the same.
Yep.
And if you're mowing your lawn every Saturday, or on Tuesdays and Saturdays, or whatever it might be, that becomes contagious. That bringing a home to a different level can be something that you will see trickle through your neighborhood.
Heidi, how do we work with you at VoigtJohnson Real Estate, or any of your staff?
Well, you can reach out to us at our office line. It's 320-774-2400, or visit VoigtJohnson.com. There's a whole catalog of agent profiles there, and you can choose who is your best match.
All right, Heidi, thank you.
All right, thanks.
Heidi Voigt, VoigtJohnson Real Estate, taking you home. And again, it's here every Thursday morning at 7:23, Saturday as well at 7:50. Start your home search at VoigtJohnson.com. AM 1450, FM 99.3, KNSI.